Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Built for More podcast. My name is Sage Breed. Man, I'm excited that you're here, that you have joined us on this new week. Man, it's been great. In this conversation, we are going to talk about how to identify patterns that have been holding you back and how to install new patterns that can help take you to the next level. Man, honestly, I'm pumped up. We're coming off of a powerful weekend. So this weekend, I had the opportunity and the blessing to speak at the Student Athlete Conference of Central Texas in Killeen, Texas. Man, and we went and we talked about how to become the person that the dream demands. What does that actually look like? What does that actually mean? And we talked about the mindsets that you need to have, the systems that need to be built, and even more importantly, the community around you. Because your community will either make you or break you. So it was powerful, man. I'm excited for next year. I'm hoping and praying that we'll be invited back. It was a wonderful experience and we had a great time. So shout out Curtis Mathis and the Grind Sports Academy for bringing us out. It was great. Thank you. Y'all, so even just going in, coming off of that highlight and just that push of momentum, it really had me thinking. It really had me thinking because even 2 weeks ago, I was speaking at this men's conference, and something that I had noticed, and this is something that's really just been hitting me because I see it everywhere. I see it everywhere, especially here in America. That a lot of people who claim to profess specifically Christianity, but even more so just different success attributes, that our bodies as a whole don't often allow us to be able to sustain what is being demanded. And this is what I mean by that. So one of the speakers that was also joining us for this men's conference 2 weeks ago, he was simply saying like, man, we're praying for God to heal our body while we're driving into the fast food lane every week. We're saying, God, heal my body of this, all the while we're ingesting this. And I was like, man, that's absolutely true, because I'll look and there's a lot of overweight people. And I know that there's a lot of difference in specific medical cases, and that's not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about is the deliberate choices that we make, because there are a lot of things that we want to do and we want to accomplish. I know we have a lot of coaches and athletes that watch this podcast. There are a lot of things that we want to do. But the fuel that we're putting into our body is low grade. And we're expecting jet level proportion and propulsion? Come on. Like, no, seriously, because it just reminds me of when I was kicked off my track team. Y'all, like, I was smoking, I was drinking, I was eating whatever I wanted. Like, I wasn't getting any sleep. I was always on the game. And it was like, why am I not getting the results I want? Like, I was just so confused. I was delusional. Like, I was like, I'm not thinking clearly. But then the moment I started drinking water, I put the sodas away. I'm not saying you can't drink soda, but I wanted to be a champion. So I said, okay, champions don't really drink that. I just started drinking water. I started taking my vitamins. I stopped eating fast food. I started eating whole foods. And slowly but surely, change after change, my body was like, oh, okay, now we got some grade A level fuel going into the system. Now I'm ready to perform. Okay, this is nice. And all of a sudden, I started to perform and started putting different high level outputs. And this is the same thing that you can experience, because I'm sure that even some of y'all watching this now, you're like, oh no, like I remember when I was overweight, or I wasn't eating as much protein as I needed, I wasn't able to perform at the level that I needed to. Like, I know a lot of us, we had to make weight for a certain, whether you were in football and you were trying to hit a position, or you were in wrestling. I know even sometimes certain gymnasts, they have to make weight. Either you gain weight or you lose weight. And I know I was talking with, we were at a boxing club recently, and he was talking about his fighters. And he was showing me this video of Dana White. He was sitting and he was watching this fighter just chew on ice. It was a rag filled with ice, and he was just chewing on ice to burn calories so he could make weight. Okay, I had a lot of thoughts about that. I was like, if that's the situation you're in, you didn't prepare accordingly. But it's even just like the different things that are demanded of us whenever it's time to perform. Are our bodies ready to do that? Like, no, seriously, because I think a lot of times we think, okay, well, I don't necessarily have to do this right now, so I'm not even gonna. Okay, I don't actually have to carry this amount of weight right at this moment, so I'm not even gonna try. But we don't know when those moments are gonna come. We don't know when greatness is gonna be demanded. And if we're talking like we want this, we're talking like I'm preparing for this, but in actuality we're not, when that opportunity arises, we're not going to be ready for it. So as we go in, something that we're going to hold on to is that patterns predict power. Patterns predict power. What we have been consistently doing. See, I've heard it like this. Your results. No, hold on. How is it said? I don't want to butcher it. I'm going to have to paraphrase it, y'all. I'm going to have to paraphrase it. But it says, your patterns are perfectly aligned to produce the results you have. So everything that you're doing, right? If you know what that quote actually is, y'all just drop it in the comments. Help us out. Okay? But it's like everything you're doing is perfectly curated to give you exactly what you have. Nobody else's fault. It's nobody else's responsibility. It's not even a good or bad thing. But it's simply saying everything you've been doing is the exact reason why you have what you have. Because maybe at one point, when we first start off, it's more like, nature versus nurture. It's like, okay, well, my environment made me this way. Okay. My family, they taught me this. Okay. But then at some point, you have to switch from blaming people to saying, okay, well, what can I take responsibility for? Because I can't count on this person to do this for me. Nobody's going to go to the gym for Sage. Sage is going to have to do that. Sage doesn't have time to go to the gym, then Sage can do calisthenics. Okay, because then it's even like, okay, nobody's going to force you to eat healthy. Right? Nobody's knocking on your door at 5 a.m. talking about make sure you drink your water. You've been asleep for 8 hours. Make sure you drink water. Your body wakes up dehydrated. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. So we look at the patterns that we have, and if we're constantly walking around tired, if we're constantly walking around energy depleted, okay, well then let's look at the patterns, because this is something that I've been guilty of. And I know I'm not the only one, because I'll talk with some of y'all and you're saying the same things. It's like, man, I'm getting sleep, but I wake up and I feel like I'm more tired than I was before I went to bed. And I was like, okay. And so the people that I'm coaching, I say, okay, well, let's get practical. Like, let's get real, brother. What are you eating? Like, tell me, like, what's your go-to meals? How much water are you drinking? How much caffeine are you intaking? Are you taking any stimulants? Right? Because a lot of times, I know right now, nicotine patches are just up on the rise. And a lot of people will take them before they go to bed because it's like, it helps me relax. It helps me calm down. But what we don't realize is that nicotine is actually a stimulant. And that relaxing feeling, it's not from the nicotine itself. It is your body feeling relaxed from craving it. It can finally say, oh, I finally got it. I finally got the hit. And so when we're taking these before bed, yeah, we're going to wake up tired because it's disrupting our body's natural cycle. I was having a conversation with Shelby, actually, and we were just simply talking about, like, okay, well, how can we prepare our home for bed? Because remember, I used to live with my mom's, and I would have these LED lights in my room, and it was scheduled that at a certain time, it would change colors. There'd be no harsh LED lights in my room. Even in the house, we started changing the light bulbs. So we had orange lights for the evening, and then we had red lights at night. And it would help our body prepare our circadian rhythm. Because what we don't always necessarily, we're not always aware of, is that the LED lights, they're emitting frequencies that are disrupting the delta waves in our brains that help us sleep. They're disrupting the alpha and the gamma waves. They're disrupting the hormone production in our body that says, okay, it's nighttime. So our patterns predict our power. And exactly everything that we've been doing, the things that we repeatedly do, these are the things we're getting stronger at. So if I repeatedly go to the gym, I'm going to build that habit, and going to the gym is just going to get easier over time. If I repeatedly don't go to the gym, not going to the gym, right? You follow me? It's going to be easy to skip because I'm already not doing it. If I'm skipping workouts, it's going to be easy to keep skipping them because our patterns predict our power. So if you want an increase in power, change your pattern. Change your pattern. And that's exactly what we're getting ready to dive into. So how to change. Y'all, hope is not lost. You can break a pattern because it's simply a system. And when we're installing systems, all we have to do is just take it one step at a time. I think a lot of times we feel this pressure because it's like, this is the kind of person I want to be. This is the kind of lifestyle I want to live. This is the type of body I want to have. This is the kind of athlete I want to be. And this is where I'm at. And it's that gap of the in-between that causes us a lot of tension. And sometimes, this is even the most frustrating part, the further you are away, it's actually not that frustrating because you have what's called the newbie gains, right? All my gym goers, we know what newbie gains are. It's like you haven't worked out in a really long time or really ever before, and you start lifting weights, all of a sudden you start putting on size like crazy for the first couple months. And then it tapers down. But it's like the closer you get to your goal, you're just inching along. Because now it's not about changing, now it's about refining. And refining is a process. And that's where a lot of the frustration comes in. It's like, well, I'm doing all the right things. I'm getting my sleep. I'm eating. I'm doing the workouts. I'm taking my accountability. I'm talking to so-and-so. I'm doing this. Like, and nothing's happening. And it's like, that's not necessarily true. A lot is happening behind the scenes because what you're doing is that you are refining what is happening. And what does refinement look like? It looks like an audit. Okay, we talked about this before. When pressure rises, we go down. We detect what's going on. We take ownership of the responsibility. We ask ourselves, okay, what needs to happen next and what can we do now? We look at our pillars because these are the very things that hold our life together when pressure starts to rise, and our pillars keep us from collapsing. We look at our spiritual pillar. Okay, what is my identity? What is my direction really based in? We look at the mental. Okay, what kind of thoughts am I allowing into my mind? Because what's in my mind, I produce. We look at our physical. Okay, is my body really able to execute at the capacity that it needs to? We look at our social. Is my circle conducive to the results that I want, or am I having to fight my circle in order to get what I want? And financial, how are we stewarding the resources that are being produced? Because when we look at the different throughputs, we get to identify, okay, this is working, this can be worked on, this can be worked on, this needs to change, this needs to be cut off. And this is what refinement looks like. When we're talking about our patterns produce power, these systems that we have in place, we are able to take a look, we're able to do an audit to say, okay, this is working, I can do this better, This is actually, I need to make sure that this stays protected, because it's not a cookie cutter situation. It varies case by case. This is something that whenever I'm going in and I'm talking with these athletic programs, they're saying our athletes, I mean, they're doing all the right things, Sage. Like, I'm really just not sure what's going on. We go, okay, well, how's the accountability? Like, not with the coaches. How's the accountability with the team? Oh, well, you know, our starters, I mean, they're cool, but they're all trying to get their own stats. Okay, well, then how can we build that community? How can we build that sense of holding one another accountable? Okay, how are the starters in the second string? How are they? Because if we're all one band, we all need to produce one sound. So these different systems that go into place are we having these check-ins? So for me, something that I have in place is for my business, I have an accountability group for my business. Hey, how's business going? Are you hitting your KPIs? How are you producing? Are you getting exactly what you need to do? How many? I don't even know where that last sentence was going to go, but it's like, and then in my personal life, I have an accountability group. I have 2 guys that I check in with, and then on top of that, I have mentors in different pillar areas, and I have coaches. Why? Because I can't do it on my own. Remember, throw your hands up. God, I don't know what I'm doing. I need you to give me the strategy. I need you to give me the play, and I'll just run the play. Because the patterns that I'm doing, they're producing exactly what I have. And God, I believe that I'm built for more. So that frustration that you're feeling, perhaps it's not because the gap is so large. Perhaps the frustration is that the gap is close. And now you're just simply refining everything. And now we get to see is that repetition installs tasks. Repetition installs tasks. And what this really means is that the tasks, these are like your taste buds. It's really the taste. Another way that this can be said is repetition installs taste. Because what you do over time, the different tasks that you do, it changes your palate. Right? When I was younger, this was actually crazy to me. When I was younger, I didn't used to like, what is that called? Oh man, I wish Shelby was in the room right now. I'd ask her, she'd know. Dude, it's a certain vegetable. It was a certain type of vegetable. Like, I don't have beef with veggies. I eat my veggies. I always have. But there was this one particular vegetable. Just the texture, bro, was gross. But as I grew older, okay, I'll eat that now. Okay. This is healthy for me now? Okay, and I just kept eating it. At first, I was like, oh, this is kind of like mad gross, bro. Like, but over time, I was like, okay, let me buy that, and I'll just start snacking on it. With music, I don't listen to explicit music. For me personally, I only listen to Christian music. And at first, it was extremely hard, especially being a musician. I listen to a lot of different music because I pull a lot of inspiration, and I just enjoy good music. But something I started to notice is that it was really affecting my mental pillar. I could be in a good mood. I put on a certain artist. Now I want to go get in a fight. Okay, what business do I have doing that? I could be in a good mood, put on this music. Now I want to go hit up. You get what I'm saying? It's like, okay, that's not even going to work. I could be feeling great, put on some music. Now I'm feeling sad and depressed. And it's like, okay, I need to get in the right zone. Okay, guys, so give me some new Christian music I can just put on. Because then I don't have to worry about turning it down when I'm driving through neighborhoods. I don't have to worry about turning it down when I'm in the street because it's not cussing. It's not saying nothing crazy. It's not disrespecting women. It's not disrespecting me. It's like, okay, I can feel good about playing this loudly. I like loud music. That's even why I write my own music. Y'all, when Spotify, Spotify does the Spotify Wrapped, I'm my top artist every year because I write music I want to listen to. And so something I noticed is that over time, when I started playing certain music, my taste started to change. Because I would go back every now and then. I'd be like, oh, let me check out this song I used to like. I don't even rock with it like that anymore. I'm like, oh man, it's actually not even that good to me anymore. I go back and I eat the junk food and I'm like, oh dude, my hands are swelling, my body feels bad. Like, y'all, when I eat fast food now, my hands swell like crazy. I can't even think for a few hours. It's actually miserable. Like, it's actually miserable. So we cook our own food majority of the time. But it didn't start off like that. I used to crave, bruh. I used to crave Whataburger. So when I was a part of the youth program at the church I grew up in, we had something that we would go to Whataburger every Wednesday night after service, and boy, I would just smash it, boy. I get the honey barbecue chicken sandwich. Excuse me, but instead of the barbecue, I get the honey butter on that boy. Oh, fire! At the same time, they had the Monterey Melt. Oh, fire, bro. Fire. Or I get the sweet and spicy bacon. Oh, dude, I smashed two of them. Sometimes I get three if I was really feeling it. It was just like, oh, this is so good, so good. Yum, 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 yum. But then when I started changing my eating habits, I went back to Whataburger. I just had their fries. Y'all, I didn't even get a full burger. I thought I was going to throw up. I thought I was going to die. And it's not because Whataburger's bad. It was very delicious. But it was because my body wasn't used to eating fast food anymore. You get what I'm saying? Come on, if you're following me, put something in the comments. Let me know that you're still here because, y'all, it's hard. It's hard trying to achieve the goals that we want because the world around us is built for us to not achieve them. And when we finally wake up and we see, oh, okay, society is literally built to hold me in the same spot. When we finally wake up to that, okay, now I can reduce my screen time. Now I can reduce getting off the game. Now I can stop finally eating all this fast food and I can cook my own stuff. Now I can actually do what I need to do to be productive because somebody's depending on you to get your act together. Somebody is depending on you saying, okay, come on, like get this going because we got to get this. You said you wanted this. You said this goal was important to you. You said that you were going to be the one to get your family out. And at some point you got to make a decision and say, okay, it's on me now. Okay, like, no, at first I was really cool just doing the same old thing, but now I realize my goals are higher. Like, no, I love kicking with you guys. Like, I promise you I do. I love you to life. But we're not talking about anything. Like, that was a conversation I had to have with my homeboys. And I would try to introduce, stocks to them. I try to introduce business ideas. I would try to introduce, but all they wanted to talk about was games. They want to talk about sports. They want to talk about this. They want to talk about that. And that's fine. I'm not even mad at that. But it's like, yo, I'm trying to build something. Like, you guys want to go into business together? And they were like, nah. And I said, okay, I love you, bro. Peace. And we still link from time to time. But it's like, what are we gonna talk about? So I had to actively look for a community. And this is how I came upon the Next Level Speakers Academy. Yo, I found a niche. I found a group that everybody's doing the same thing I'm doing. Everybody's doing the exact same thing. Shout out Jeremy Anderson. I found him on Tim Ross's podcast, The Basement, years ago. And I was like, oh, snap. This is a man of integrity. And he was like, yeah, I'm building a community for speakers. I'm building a community for consultants and coaches. I said, I need to tap in. And it's changed the trajectory of my life. It's changed the trajectory of my family's life. And so it's even just going, okay, well, if these patterns produce power and everything I've been doing is producing exactly what I have, and repetition is literally installing different tasks and is changing my taste, well, then it's like, okay, if you don't like the way that something is going, well, then change that thing. Then change it. If you don't like the conversations you're having, change the conversations you're having. If you don't like the way that people are perceiving you, well, then change the way you're being perceived. Do an audit and be like, okay, what are they saying? And that's not saying you got to people please by any means. Don't do that. But it's simply saying, okay, if everybody is saying the same thing, it's probably not everybody. You're the common denominator. Now, it's hard because sometimes we'll find ourselves in positions where, and this was crazy for me. This was actually crazy for me. So when I was at the student athlete conference, man, we had NFL players there, and we had some state champions there, and we had some conference champions, and I had my rings. And I was telling them, I said, y'all, like, I came back 2017 indoor track and field champion. Like, that's conference champion. I got a ring. And then I said, and by the grace of God, I had the opportunity to go on to the D1 level, and I coached and produced a national athlete, and I have a ring to prove it. And I was telling that story, and when my time was up and the conference was over, I was packing up my stuff, and one of the speakers, actually, they were like, hey, like, I'm talking to this other guy, one of the other speakers. He hasn't seen your rings. I was like, oh, yeah, like my rings. Like, yeah, I got two of them. I got one for conference and one for nationals. And she was like, bring them, like, show them. I was like, yeah, okay. Like, you know, people just say stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay. And they both were like, no, like, bring them. I was like, oh, okay. So I went to get them, and I brought the rings, and we're comparing rings. Like, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, yo, this is a different environment. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, y'all, we got to take a picture. I said, for me personally, honestly, it's not often that I interact with people that have rings. And they looked at me, and they both were like, no, you're exactly right. It's not often. I don't even remember the last time I've interacted with somebody that wasn't on my team that has a ring. Y'all, we took a photo. So sick. I may put it in here. I don't know. We'll see. But it's like, that did something. That did something in here. I was like, okay, I'm in the right spot. Like, I'm in the right environment. Because we think different. Champions think different, bro. And this is something that I'm trying to communicate to y'all, is because a lot of us, we want to get to that place. And I'm not talking from theory. I know a lot of times maybe I'm doing a disservice because I don't want to come off braggadocious about the things that I've done and the things that I've accomplished. But I know a lot of us, we need to hear those things. And so I just want to say I'm sorry for not expressing the things that I've accomplished to you, because our level of exposure will determine our level of success. That's what Jamal says. And it's just like, okay. Like, I got to bring you, I will put that photo in. I will put that. By the time you hear this, the photo will have already been put up. So it's just like, okay. Like, no, I've won conference. I've been to nationals. I've won. I know what it takes to succeed. I know what it takes to be successful. And this is the same reason, like, when I did this workshop at HEB, they were asking me, they were like, yo, like, talk to our managers, bro, because they're struggling. Like, talk to our partners, they're struggling. And I was like, yo, for sure, just sign this contract. It's like, I'll talk to them about whatever you want, just sign the contract. I felt like Mike Tyson, sign the contract. It's just, but it's going in with that mentality of like, no, like, I can really take you to that next level. Like, and it's stepping into who you're supposed to be. It's stepping into and stop downplaying yourself and being like, oh, and this is something, I'm fully stepping into. Like I said, that did something to me when I was in that room. And I'm looking at their rings, and they're looking at my rings, and we're just comparing rings. Like, oh, this has a nice weight. Oh, this one has diamonds in it. Oh, this one's engraved. Oh, this one was studded. Oh, this one. It's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, we're talking about, I mean, I don't listen to secular music like that, but that doesn't mean I'm not up to date on pop culture, right? So we know Drake just put out Iceman. He just put out, what is that? Maid of Honor. And he just put out, I forget the name of that other album. Like I said, I'm not really keeping up with it. But he put it out in such fashion, bro. He shut down the streaming platforms. It crashed. Like, what? He's number 9 right now in the world. So I was like, who's number 1? Like, if he's number 9, who's number 1? And even just in that thought process, I didn't care who 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, or 2 was. I said, who's number one? You want to know who number one is? Okay, I'm going to tell you who number one is. But when I was thinking about that, I was like, no, that's crazy, because nobody really cares about the middle. Nobody really cares about, well, who were the other guys? They just want to know who won. And so when I was looking at his track record, I said, he's got billion streams on this platform alone. That's not including YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon, all this other stuff. I was like, that's crazy. Like, that's actually insane. You know how many hours that is of people listening to this one song alone? And he had multiple songs in the billions. He had multiple songs in the 8 digits. Like 9 digits. So I'm looking and I'm like, man, who in the world is number one? Because that's not just in America. Drake doesn't even live in America. He may come here often, but he don't live here. He was in Canada. He's doing world tours. So I'm looking at who's number one. Y'all, when I tell you, I was surprised. It actually shocked me who the number one artist in the world was. As of right now, today, the number one artist in the world is Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber. He's the number one artist. And I was looking at his portfolio. I was like, no, that's crazy. Like, that's actually, I never would have thought. Personally, I really enjoy Justin Bieber's music. I don't really ever listen to it, but I really enjoy it. I love his story. Man, I remember I was in middle school. We're almost the same age. And it's like, I mean, I think he's like 4 or 5 years older than I am. But I remember being in middle school, and he was just discovered by Usher, and Baby came out, and all these girls are singing Baby, and I'm like, what are y'all yapping about, bro? Because first it was the Jonas Brothers, then it was Justin Bieber, and it's like yada, yada, yada. And then over the years, as he's matured, as he's overcome, as he's established himself in his dominance, he's number one. Y'all, and the things it takes to do that. I mean, that's a different mindset. The level of discipline, the level of commitment and consistency, the vision. I mean, that doesn't just happen on accident. We got 8 billion people in the world. 8 billion people in the world. And one person's the number one artist. 8 billion people. Even to be top 10 is insane. And to really just think about that. Like, what is that? What does the work ethic actually look like with that? And is that what we're willing to do? Or when things get hard, are we just going to bust down and start crying and be like, oh, it's so hard. Oh, I don't want to wake up at this time. Oh, I don't want to put in the work. I don't want to. And it's like, no, I hear you. It is hard. Absolutely, it is hard. But this is what I'm going to tell you. If you're my competition, this is what I would tell you if you were my competition. We're not competitors. You can't compete with me. We don't even do the same thing. I don't have any competition. That's my mindset. Now, I will say this. This is what I tell people when they bring me in. I said, this is what your competitor is waiting for. They're waiting for you. I was having this conversation actually at the conference. I was talking with this business owner, and he was saying how he was signing these papers to get this deal, but then he paid somebody money to take care of something, and they fumbled, and he lost the deal. And it was a 3-year process, and he was telling me, he was like, Sage, I was depressed. Like, I'm angry, I don't know what to do, and yada, yada, yada. He said, I never should have. Now I'll never count and trust on anybody to do that again. I said, okay, I hear what you're saying. Man, that absolutely sucks, brother. Like, that actually sucks. I said, it sounds like what you're saying is now you feel like you have to take control of everything. And he says, yeah, absolutely, that's exactly how I feel. I said, well, let's slow down. Don't do that. Don't do that. Instead, hire people you can trust. Check in for sure, especially if it's something important. Check in for sure. Don't just laissez-faire, hands off it. But check in. Let them do what you hired them to do, And when due dates are coming, check in, ask for proof. But I said, and this was something we were talking about, it says, but somebody's waiting for you to quit. Because the moment you quit, the resources that other people were giving you, they're freed up now. And somebody who was waiting for you to give up, they're going to get those resources. And it's like, and this is something I told him. I said, this is my mindset. I said, I know I can outlast anybody. That's not a question. So I don't have to be better than you. I just have to outlast you. You don't have to be better than all these people out here. You just have to outlast them. No, it's like, okay, no, you're really nice with what you're doing. You're really sweet in this sport. But I know once you get tired, your form goes down. So I'll work on my form. So my form stays perfect. Whole match. This is something that I did. That's what helped me become a conference champion. Not like I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't. And my form sucked. So what I did, I put more attention into the fundamentals, into the form. So when I got tired, the guys that were better than me, when their form started breaking down, my form didn't. So my form alone helped me pass them. Your patterns predict power. So if you don't like what you're getting, change what you're doing and how you're doing it. The repetition will change the task. Okay, this isn't working anymore. This isn't working how I want it. This isn't producing the results I want. I need to change it. And this is a truth. This is what it says. This comes out of 1 Timothy 4:7. I'm actually going to put it down here. You're going to, but it's essentially about disciplining yourself to accomplish a goal. If you have a goal, you're going to have to discipline yourself. We know that discipline is vision applied. We know that vision is the ability to see beyond. You're the one that said it. You're the one that said you wanted to accomplish it. Why are you waiting for somebody else to come open the door for you? No, like, hear what I'm saying. You're the one that said you wanted this. You're the one that said you wanted the promotion. You're the one that said you wanted this spot on the team. You're the one that said you want to make it on the roster. You are the one that said that. You're the one that said you wanted to be healthy. You're the one that said you wanted to build a family. You said that. So why are you waiting for somebody else to come and do it for you? Like, hear what I'm saying, because I love you so much. You got to get it together. Like, you're tripping, bro. And I get that, because that was me. Yo, I used to drop out of races. I remember I injured myself on purpose one time because I didn't want to run. What? Like, bruh, that's actually delusional. Like, coach didn't believe me, so I hurt myself and said, look. So I showed him my look. And it's just like, okay, like, I get that. I get that. I said I wanted to win, but I would drop out of every race. Like, I think my first 2 years of my collegiate running career, I think I only finished about 60% of races. That's not a lot. I would drop out of the other 40. So I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to want to change your body.